Let's be real for a second. There's someone you just can't stop thinking about. They've kind of set up camp in your mind, right? You wake up, they're there. You're replaying conversations, you're checking their social media. You tell yourself, I should be over this, but your brain just doesn't listen. If that feels familiar, I want you to hear this. You are not weak, you're not crazy, you're actually caught in one of the most powerful psychological traps there is. So let's break down what's really going on.
Here's the most important thing to get your head around from the start. Moving on is not about willpower. It's not about just trying harder or pretending they didn't exist. It is, quite literally, a biological and psychological process. You have to rewire the very circuits in your brain that are keeping you stuck.
And that begs the question, right? Why does it feel so incredibly, overwhelmingly impossible, like you're fighting against your own survival instinct? Well, there's a very real scientific reason for that feeling, and we're about to unpack it.
To get to the bottom of this, we have to start by looking at what's happening inside your own head. Because what you're feeling goes way deeper than just an emotion. It's a full-blown chemical reaction happening in your brain.
Okay, here comes a dose of brutal honesty. From your brain's perspective, this isn't just love, it's addiction. I mean that literally. Your brain cannot tell the difference between losing a person you're obsessively attached to and withdrawing from a powerful drug. The experience is the same.
Think about it. When you were with this person, your brain was getting drenched in this amazing cocktail of chemicals. Dopamine, which creates that intense craving, norepinephrine for all the excitement and focus, and oxytocin, that cuddle hormone that makes you bond. Well, now that source is gone, and your brain is in full-blown, screaming withdrawal, desperate for its next fix. That physical ache in your chest, that anxiety, that is withdrawal. It's real. And this really shows us the difference between healthy love and obsessive attachment. Healthy love feels stable, it feels secure. Obsessive attachment, on the other hand, is a chaotic roller coaster. You get these incredible highs when they give you a scrap of attention, followed by crushing, devastating lows when they pull away. You're not addicted to the person, you see. You're addicted to the roller coaster they put you on.
But it's not just brain chemistry. There are also specific psychological patterns that can make certain people and certain dynamics uniquely addictive, creating a trap that feels just about impossible to escape.
And this brings us to one of the most powerful psychological forces on the planet: intermittent reinforcement. The easiest way to understand this is to think of a slot machine. Why is it so addictive? It's not because you win every time. It's because you might win on the very next pull. It's the unpredictability. If this person was warm and amazing one day and cold and distant the next, your brain gets hooked on the possibility of that reward. That maybe is 1,000 times more addictive than a sure thing.
And that's often mixed in with other traps, too. You might have a fantasy bond, where you're not in love with the real person, but with this perfect idealized version you've built in your head. Or future faking, where they promise you this beautiful future they have no intention of delivering. And then there are trauma bonds, where the intense cycle of good and bad actually creates this strange, powerful connection that keeps you hooked.
Okay, so that's the problem. And I know, it sounds intense. But here is the good news. There is a way out. The key is to realize that this obsessive thinking isn't random. It's a habit. It's a mental loop that you run over and over. And you know what? Any habit can be broken.
So here's what that loop looks like. First, something triggers it. A song on the radio, a place you used to go, even just a random memory. Boom. That fires off an intrusive thought about them. Now here's the crucial mistake we all make. We engage with it. We start analyzing it, questioning it, replaying it, and that, my friends, leads straight down into an emotional spiral of sadness or false hope, which just fuels the next thought, and on it goes.
So how do you break it? You have to jump in, and you have to do it fast. The moment you catch the thought, step one is to just acknowledge it without judgment. Just say, oh, okay, there's that thought about them again. Step two, and this is non-negotiable, immediately redirect your attention to something that requires focus. Get up, do 5 push-ups, solve a Rubik's Cube, call a friend and ask about their day, anything. And step three, you repeat. You do this every single time. This isn't about one big heroic effort. It's about building a new mental muscle, one tiny rep at a time.
Now, interrupting that thought loop, that's like applying first aid. It stops the bleeding. But the next phase is about healing. It's about moving beyond just stopping the pain and starting to rediscover who you are, completely independent of them.
So I want to ask you a serious question. Who were you before them? Before this whole thing started? What did you love to do? What were your passions? What were your goals? That person, your authentic self, they didn't just vanish. They just got covered up for a while. And they're still in there, waiting for you to come find them again. So here's your toolkit to get started. First, reconnect with hobbies and interests you let slide. Pick up that guitar again. Go join that hiking club. Second, set brand new personal goals that have absolutely nothing to do with a relationship. And third, this is a big one, you have to practice being alone comfortably. Take yourself to a movie, go eat at a nice restaurant by yourself, learn to enjoy your own company again.
And all of this work leads us to the final, and honestly, the most empowering phase of this whole journey. The ultimate goal here isn't just to get over them. It's to build a life that's so full and so meaningful that they simply can't compete with it.
This is where the real magic happens. You make the shift from just surviving the pain of them being gone to actively thriving in your own life. You start building a life where your happiness, your purpose, and your validation all come from within you, not from anyone else's approval.
Because look, the ultimate win isn't forgetting they exist. The ultimate win is building a career, a friend group, a sense of self that is so strong and so satisfying that if they ever did come back, you'd have to genuinely stop and ask yourself, wait, would this person even add anything to this amazing life I've built? When you get to that point where you're not even sure they'd make the cut, that's when you know you're finally free.